Time to pull up a chair. We've got another great story for you today in the rLounge. It seems life has a way of making sure people get exactly what they deserve. Today in the rLounge, mess with the wrong people, and there's a good chance they'll learn exactly how it feels when they're finally ignored, shut down, or told to take a hike. Up first, they say if you love someone, let them go, and if they come back, it probably means things didn't work out with the person they left you for. My 27 female ex, 26 male, dumped me in January after 9 years together because he didn't think I was wife material. Now he reached out wanting to talk because he needs to get something off his chest. I don't know why he's doing this or if I should meet him. I was with my ex, who I will call Nate, because if I'm being honest, minus betraying a friend, I was a Cassie. I don't want to go too much into the details, but for the last 9 years, I lost myself to Nate. He was my world. Everything I did was for him. I helped him through depression, helped get or keep his grades up, even worked 2 jobs so he could focus on college when his parents disowned him for nearly 3 years because they didn't agree with the major or college he chose. Bear in mind, I was also a college student. When his parents started talking to him again and started to financially support him, we moved into a new apartment. Nate said he wanted me to quit my job. I didn't, because it was his turn to take care of me. For 16 months, everything was great. He spoiled me. Then I noticed he was more interested in his new friends at times. He ignored me completely. Back in December, he did a 180 and he love-bombed me a whole month. He really went out of his way to make Christmas magical for me. I honestly believed he was going to propose to me on January the 2nd. He made me my favorite dinner and made this speech about me being his first love, how I've been there since high school. I kept thinking any minute now he's going to ask me to marry him. But no, he dumped me as his speech went on. My world fell apart, and as much as he tried to sugarcoat it, he basically said, "You are a good girlfriend, but that's what you always will be to me, a girlfriend. I don't see you as my wife or the mother of my children, blah, blah, blah. You served your purpose, now I don't need you anymore, blah, blah. I need someone on my level, blah, blah. You're a gold digger, blah. I'll give you 30 days to move out." I couldn't speak, and he stared at me looking for a response. I think this lasted 20 minutes before he said he'd sleep in the guest room, then left. Strangely, I didn't cry or get angry. I just ordered cardboard boxes online, then went to bed. The next day, I waited for him to leave the apartment before I left my room. Then I called my boss, asked, begged really, if I could transfer anywhere. She told me there wasn't anything, but if something came up in my department, she'd consider me. I then reached out to everyone I knew that wasn't also Nate's friend for a place to stay. My cousin invited me to stay in her spare room for as long as I needed, and I could move in straight away, so that was amazing. In the 4 days it took me to pack my stuff and move out, I didn't see or speak to Nate. I doubt he even noticed. I didn't trust myself at the time to ignore a "you up" text, so I blocked him and everyone close to him, even changed my email to make sure he couldn't reach me. The first night at my cousin's was the night everything hit me. I think I cried every night. The first month I honestly felt like crap. I thought about what Nate said over and over again. It made me feel so low, like I was nothing. He only stayed with me because I was just there. But thankfully my cousin sent for my mom and other cousins and real friends to give me an intervention, which I badly needed. I believe that first month I wouldn't have made it without my cousin. I'm still healing and waiting on that job transfer because I feel like if I'm not in the same city as Nate and I have a place of my own, the fresh start would do me the world of good. I thought by now I'd be a distant memory for Nate, but shockingly, he sent flowers to my job today for my birthday, which was on Sunday. Apparently, he went to my parents' house looking for me too, and my mom admitted he's been before dropping off stuff and tried to ask questions about me, but they told him to F off. The flowers came with a card saying, "Dear Cassie, happy belated birthday. I've been thinking about you for nonstop for the last few months, especially with how everything ended. I need to get something off my chest that I feel will haunt me for the rest of my life if I don't tell you this to your face, but I have no way of contacting you. If it's possible, can we meet up in the near future? Nate." What could he want? What's haunting him he needs to say to my face? Everyone in my life is telling me to ignore him, but they hate him. I'm torn, but I can't lie. My curiosity is telling me to meet him to see what he wants. Has anyone been in my shoes or in Nate's? Update. So we ended up meeting, and no, I didn't go to him. I had told the receptionist at my work if he came looking to just say I'm out for the day after he showed up once. I didn't want the drama of him around my job. So Nate just kept going to my usual places like the grocery store I go every Saturday evening or the park I ran at Sunday mornings. His words. Till he would eventually run into me. And he did yesterday. He was waiting at the coffee shop I go to after my morning run. When I saw him, I tried to do a U-turn around and leave, but he kept calling me. So I thought to myself, if everything went pear-shaped, a coffee shop would be safer than my walk home. So I just sat down and asked him what he wanted. He gave an apology that wasn't an apology, you know, the type with the, "I'm sorry, but," and "pity me." He blamed his mental health, his job, his parents, his friends, everyone but himself. I took someone's advice on here and said, "Cut the crap, I already know everything." He genuinely looked shocked and stared at me for a second. I guess he thought his coworker already told me everything, so he couldn't lie. Here's what really happened. He fell for a girl in his office. When he told me her name, I knew her immediately. I've met her a few times. He told me that for the last 2 years he idolized her. To be fair, she's beautiful with an amazing personality. And he hated me because I was the one stopping them from being together because his coworker was too classy to be a side piece. When he broke up with me, he confessed to her that he was madly in love with her and he ended a 9-year relationship to be with her. Well, here's where it gets funny. She doesn't even like him. She called him a piece of trash and told him if he ever spoke to her outside of work, she'd report him to HR. So I asked him, what has any of this got to do with me? Like, we're over. I clearly cut ties. There's no reason for us to speak. He wants to try again. Promised we'd get married before the year ends, that we belong together. I told him no. I'm nobody's second choice. He threw me away after 9 years and said some pretty cruel things to me. And now he thinks if he snaps his fingers, I'll come running back. He tried to beg and fake tears, bringing the good times in our relationship. I told him to please leave me alone, as he wasted too much of my time already. I texted my cousin to meet me at the coffee shop. He kept saying nonsense, even suggested if I went to couples counseling for a few months, he'd leave me alone for the 20 minutes it took my cousin to arrive. Felt like 20 years. In the end, I just stopped listening and stood at the counter making small talk with baristas till my cousin arrived. She told him to F off, and if he tried to follow us, she'll call her brothers. He stayed in the coffee shop as far as I know, and we just went home, and that's it. It's only been a day, but I feel like it's over, and I'm free of him. You gave this man 9 years of your life, supported him through everything, sacrificed your own well-being to lift him up, and then he blindsided you with a breakup wrapped in a fake proposal speech? Bye-bye. Honestly, he came back because the fantasy crashed and reality got real. He's not sorry he hurt you. He's sorry it didn't work out with the other girl, and now he's alone. That's not romance, that's desperation. Have you ever had an ex come back after treating you terribly? What did you say? And did you ever consider giving them another chance? Share your stories with us in the comments below. Up next, when one family decides to surprise another by inviting someone they've cut ties with, things get messy. Am I the a-hole for canceling a paid vacation after finding out my sister-in-law, who we have been no contact with, was coming? My husband, 40, and myself, 38, and our 4 children were invited to go on vacation to Cabo. We graciously accepted and began the planning process with the in-laws. They paid for the rooms and we were going to pay for dinners and some outings. We had everything planned. We decided to take a last-minute trip to the beach a month before our Cabo trip. Everything was great, until our daughter came to us at the end of the trip and said Aunt Casey is coming to Cabo. When asked who told her that, she said Grandpa told her while they were swimming at the pool. My husband and I were immediately upset. Casey, not her real name, is my husband's sister, who we have not had contact with in years due to her being physically abusive, provoking fighting amongst her siblings. Husband is one of 5, and brought our children into verbal conflict, verbal abuse, violent outbursts, poor impulse, pulse control. She has been told she needs help many times, and never gets it, blaming everyone and never taking responsibility for anything. Her life has been spiraling out of control for years, never being able to hold any type of relationship. Father-in-law has babied her and let her walk all over him and almost bankrupt him. She calls him names and has been manipulating him to the point of no return. My husband canceled as soon as we found out she was invited. They know our boundaries and have made it clear we will not be at anything she is at. Knowing they wouldn't get the money back, we did offer to pay for our portion, but they refused. Are we the a-hole? They are mad because we canceled and decided to go on our own vacation. Update. I just want to thank everyone for their input. This is our first ever Reddit post, and I never thought it would get any attention at all. I thought it was crazy to post when a friend mentioned it. I've only ever looked at posts on here. We are sticking to not going and have planned our own vacation. We still love them and will never understand their relationship with Casey or how she is able to manipulate them, mostly my father-in-law. But that's not up to us to fix or to try to understand. Our job is to protect our kids and keep our peace, which so many of you understand. I don't know why we let others make us second guess ourselves over this issue. I guess things can get weird and awkward when money is involved. Thank you again for all the input. Update number 2. My husband has spoken to his parents again. He told them if they do this in the future, it will mean limiting to no contact with the kids. We have never had this problem before, so I'm hoping this was a one-time lapse in judgment. They are going forward with the vacation and still taking Casey, and we are still going on our separate vacation. She's had some life-changing progress, and they want to support her, and we will not interfere or get involved. Didn't ask what the life-changing progress was, and just praying it's the help she needs. If my husband ever chooses to open that door, we will discuss it then, but he's set on no contact. He explained spending your childhood to young adulthood with someone who had caused so much conflict and chaos has made him an adult who seeks peace out and chooses it every chance he can, which I understand. And for everyone asking, she is his older sister by 2 years. My husband is the baby of his family. They are the two closer in age, so he had a front row seat to her crap show, and she often blamed him for things or tried to rope him into her mess along the way. Thank you all again for the reassurance. We had a lot of family is family comments, and you couldn't have stuck it out for a week comments, or they paid all that money and you're backing out over your sister comments from other family that made us second guess ourselves for a slight second. Let's see what the community thinks. Not the a-hole. You set a clear boundary for your family's safety and peace, and they chose to ignore it. You had every right to cancel, especially when your trust was broken behind your back. Someone else offers this. Not the a-hole, but next time they call you ungrateful, I would just say back to them, "Oh, you want me to be grateful? You wanted to surprise me with a violent person I cut off. Yeah, sorry about that, but that's not how it works. You know she has put my children through no end of trouble and wanted to hide that she was coming on the trip, because if you did not want to hide it, you would have told us up front. And you would have been told we were not coming, and then you wouldn't have been able to try and guilt us. But, oh, it's paid, so you don't get to blackmail us with guilt, because you knew what was going to happen." They can say family is family all they want, but being related to someone doesn't mean you're required to expose your children to toxic, unstable behavior. You gave them a chance to be honest and respectful, and instead, they tried to guilt you into accepting a situation that completely goes against your values and your children's well-being. Let them go on their vacation with Casey. You're doing the right thing by protecting your peace, even if it ruffles some feathers. How would you handle being blindsided like this? Go anyway or cancel like they did? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for joining us today in the rLounge. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Until next time. Oh, and please put your chair back where you found it.